You want to know why white people hate every single culture? It's for many reasons. It's not just because of one reason. And one of them is most cultures, like the Hispanics, the indigenous people, the Asians, they don't need money to be happy. Where white people need money to be happy all the time. White people don't like other cultures because it shows the shame inside of them that they never really created anything in this world other than trauma and drama. Drama. Because every culture, the Asians, the Hispanics, the indigenous people, all have done something to make this world what it is today. Not really whites. I mean, look at the cars we have now in America. White people cars, because they got the blueprint from the indigenous people and they got rid of them. So now we got all the cars now that all look the same now. It's all generic white people shit. I have a Jeep right now, and I could easily get a Kia, and it's cheaper and it looks better than the Jeep. Like, they all look the same. That's why I think it's hilarious how people want to get like Range Rovers and all this other bullshit just to look cool outside. And it's just like, all the fucking cars look the same. Because white people, it's literally white people written all over it. Let's make all the cars look the same because we got the blueprint now. Anyone's going to buy it now, which is true. Everyone keeps buying these bullshit cars. By the way, the indigenous people made 10 times better, because otherwise we'd be driving box cars with no blinkers on them. The Asian community amped up even more. So it's just like, what have white people ever do? And that's why they hate other cultures, because they know deep down they just never did anything. The other cultures come over here and they strut and they do better than them. That's why they want to deport them all the time, because they have that shame of the being useless and worthless. Without the Asians, without the indigenous people, without the Hispanics, it would be looking like the Family Odd Parents if everything looks gray. I mean, it already kind of looks like that. I mean, look at McDonald's now. It's all gray. There's no color to it anymore. Everything's fucking gray. We're living in the Family Odd Parents of the gray. Everything's gray. It's just, everyone's just as the same, looks the same. It's white people culture type shit. It's just generic. So it's a lot of things that why they don't like other cultures. Because our cultures don't need wealth to be happy. Most cultures created most of everything in this world. That's why the world's running the way it is today. This is what white people just did. Money, buy, sell. That's it. Nothing unique about white people. And I'm white. And I can admit it. And that's why they have no true friendships, the white community. That's why they have the hierarchy. And they always like to stab each other. I mean, every culture does it, but it's mostly the white people, because they created this. They want to be a superior. They think they're alpha or something, whatever the fucking label they love to give themselves. And a lot of people don't fall for their shit, knowing that they're not all alpha, they're this or that. They're just a human being that thinks money and status is the way to go. So they don't have true friendships. It's always talking shit about each other. Even the females, they're always doing something behind each other's backs. And in my opinion, I think mostly the lonely epidemic it's in the white community more than any other culture. That's just my opinion. You mostly see white people talk about it more than anybody else. So just saying, white people don't have culture or community.
I'm here this morning just driving, and I've been thinking quite a bit. And I've come to the conclusion that white people hate other cultures and communities because we have none. There is no white community. There is no white culture. It's just been theft of culture and consumerism. That's all it is. Just rampant consumerism, fake relationships, plastic existence. take even, black culture, Mexican culture. There's a sense of community, family, trust. That doesn't exist in the white world. Sure, you have your country clubs and churches, but none of those are real relationships. I mean, you even look at the gay community, the trans community. They hate that. They hate that because there's a community, there's a culture, there's people uniting.
All right, white culture real quick. There can't be white culture in this country, period. There's no white culture. And I think that offends white people because we are always talking about black culture and native culture.
Yeah.
And then we get mad. We're like, well, we're a culture. No, we're a race. We're a race that took two other cultures, an entire African culture and an entire native culture, and we oppressed one and we tried to eradicate the other. But throughout all of our oppression and our murder and our rape, they never died. Their culture never died. They kept their religious practice. They kept their art, their fashion, their food, their music. No matter what we tried to do to the African culture that we brought here and the native culture that we stole from, they never died. And that drives white people crazy. So now we're desperate to have our own culture because we can't keep stealing from the ones that we've oppressed.
These are whites calling out themselves, saying this is actually what this is. We don't have culture. Let's not deceive ourselves. We are scared. We have that inferiority complex. In fact, you can't even balance us when black people are standing, when people of color are standing. In fact, a lot of them have said, if other races are talking about culture, they should not talk because they don't contribute to anything. They've not created anything. The only thing that they have created is confusion. The only thing that they have successfully created is troubles. The only thing that they have successfully created is reclassification of things. Taking what does not belong to them, changing A to Z and changing B to C. That is the only thing. See, the honest truth is, I love it when I see some of these white folks coming out to air out the truth. I love it when I see white folks understanding the struggles of black Americans and understanding what black people have literally been through and knowing the facts and trying to pull out the facts as simple as it is. Not other ones that we know and keep pretending and keep running up and down. And you know me, I'm not a biased person. Whenever I see a white person did excellently well, I'm going to applaud him. I applaud this man, honestly, for doing a well job. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And with that being said, let's continue rolling out the clips. I'll be back with commentaries.
And now time for cultural appropriation. So we outside, I'm outside taking a walk into the sunlight. So I'm looking at this video, man. I said, I got to talk about this shit. It's one of them little retreats. You know, white folks love going on retreats and shit. They love going on retreats. And you know I'm telling the truth. They love to go on retreats, you know, somewhere far in the woods. And they love doing, like, tribal shit, you know. They love doing tribal shit in their way. They never stick to their own shit. You know, what would be their own shit? Because this song is bugging me. I don't know what the hell it is. They're going, yeah, yeah. There's a girl in the middle going, yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, yeah, 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 yo. Trying to be African. They trying to do a cappella African. You know, ever heard of Lady Smith Mambazo? That's a famous African a cappella group. They trying to do some shit like that. And she's going, ah, yeah, 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 ah, yeah, yeah, yo. They just yelling shit out. That's what they do, practicing their blackness when we ain't around. I had to say something. I'm gonna let you get away with that shit. Why don't you do something white? Why don't you all be singing, here comes the sun, diddly-hoo. Here comes the sun, all right, it's all right, doo-dee-dee, 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 doo-dee. Something like that. Cuckoo, cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson, dot and done and left and gone away. Hey, hey, hey. Stop it!
White people do this really annoying thing where they try to argue with you over your own fucking culture and try to argue with you over ebonics and shit. And I see it in the comment section time and time again. And it had me thinking about this time I was in college, my junior year in my web development class. I had to make a recipe website. And I did it on comfort food from the Black community. And I named the website Itis. And the professor went around the room, was like, what do we think about the name Itis? And this one white boy, nobody said anything, but this one white boy was like, I don't like it. It sounds like somebody's sick. And I was like, well, culturally, AAVE terms, it means this. And he was like, that doesn't sound right. I looked around. I was the only Black person in that motherfucking room. I was so confused. I said, well, it means this. I don't care what you think it means this. We went back and forth for a little while, and I'm looking at my professor like, damn, I'm looking at you, and you Black, but you're Kenyan. You can't even fucking help me because culturally you don't know what the fuck is going on. And that's what we mean when we say y'all Black, but y'all not black. You know what I mean? And the white boy, he Googled it. He was like, oh, it popped up in Urban Dictionary. It means this. I said, I know what the fuck it, I didn't say fuck. I was like, oh, I know what it means. I didn't need you to read the definition to me. And we moved on. Like, how the fuck do y'all be trying to argue with people? Like, hey, I live this, I speak this is me every day. How the fuck do y'all be trying to argue with people over shit like that? It never makes sense to me.
Okay, let's check out this video and then I'm going to react to it. Let's go.
I remember being a teacher in an inner city school, and I'd have one or two mothers 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes every day, coming in 30 minutes late with their bonnets and their pajamas and their footies, bringing their kid in, stopping my class 30 minutes late every day, and then copping attitude with me when I would say, you need to bring your child on time. We have a situation where in the Black community, unfortunately, there is a lack of father and parental father strong figures in the home. And so you're seeing a lot of behavior because of that outcrop of that. And instead of like blaming whitey or blaming slavery or whatever the things that are going to be blamed on this panel, I'm 100% sure, instead of blaming whitey, why not take a look at the behavior that's going on with some members of the Black community and have a come to Jesus with them?
But where was the lie? She's telling the truth. There is a lack of strong father parental figures in the home. You know, pre-civil rights, 75 to 85% of Black children was raised in a 2-parent household. It slowly declined after civil rights, but now it's spiraled out of control because we have 55 to 65% of Black children being raised by single Black mothers. So some of you say, well, who fault is that? Well, that's another conversation. Today, we're just talking about the results because of that. I was raised in a 2-parent household. I'm telling you, I had a strong father figure. It matters. There was structure and respect, and when we stepped out in the public, we better had some act right. Remember good times with James in Florida? They may have been poor, but they wasn't ghetto ratchet. That part. Florida and James was well respected. And I never seen Thelma go to school with a bonnet and pajamas on. That part. This lady is speaking the truth. The problem is many in the Black community don't like the truth coming out of a white mouth. I'm Gen X. I was told by my mom, every time you step out correct, baby. Always look your best. And grandma would add, have a pair of clean underwear on. She would say, just in case you ended up in the hospital, at least your drawers was clean. Accountability is key. Respect this woman's time. Y'all won't respect her, but don't want to give respect. Then copping an attitude. See, presentation gonna bring attention either way, good or bad. I have stepped out there and never knew opportunity was sitting there for me. But opportunity would have passed me up if I would have had on a bonnet and pajamas. And to give this lady credit, she didn't say all Black people. She said some. So what is it? It's the toxic culture, and it needs to be canceled. Let's get back to grandma culture. That part.
I find it so interesting when white people have so much to say about Black culture. Interesting indeed. Anyways, white people have culture. Yeah. And maybe if you spent some time focusing on that shit, you might get your nose out of black culture and black business. So, for example, you could focus on the culture of police officers. Most of which are white. You could focus on big pharma culture, big corporation, most of which is white. Now, I don't exactly prefer this term. I don't like it at all, really, but people do know what you mean when you say it. You could focus on trailer trash. You could get down into them hills and hollers. Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe you'd figure out that culture is really primarily just how a group of people enjoy interacting with each other. Yeah, it could be food, it can be slang, it can be music, it can be things passed down through heritage, generations of how they cook their peach cobbler, whatever. And that don't have a goddamn thing to do with whether people have the ability to succeed or not succeed. Yeah, that part is all systemic. Oh, shit. Systemic. That's white shit. God damn, it's just fucking everywhere. You have so much white shit to focus on. You should try that. Yeah, give it a shot. Hell, I bet you'd be a different person if you just did it for like 30-day challenge. Yeah, 30-day challenges everywhere. You see people accomplishing them. Some of them really complicated. This one ain't so complicated. Anyways, challenge. And one more thing, man, I gotta go back to this. Maybe white people just don't like the culture black people are partaking in. It's no one's fucking business. And it sure as fuck ain't white people's business. You know what? Fuck 30-day challenge. Fuck it. I don't think you have the stamina for it. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Just replaying those words in your head. Maybe white people just don't like the culture black people are partaking in. Maybe white people just don't like the culture that black people are partaking in. Maybe white people just don't like the culture black people are partaking in. Do it for yourself. Do it for all of humanity.
When white people come up in my comments upset with me talking about race and talking about the state of racism in this country and white supremacy, aka white delusion, whenever they get upset, I always want to tell them, and I should tell them, I just don't be having time, but I always want to tell them, y'all, you're not mad at black folk. You're mad at your parents and your grandparents and your great-great-great-great-grandparents all the way down to the founding fathers. You're mad at them because they didn't care enough about you to do the work and clean up the mess that they created through the genocide of the indigenous people here, through the attempted enslavement of the indigenous people here, and the actual enslavement, human trafficking, labor trafficking, and sex trafficking of Africans to this country and to this hemisphere and all over the globe. You're not mad at us. You're mad at them because they haven't cleaned up that mess, and they didn't care to clean up that mess because they were willing to enjoy their white privilege at the expense of future generations. And guess who those future generations are? It's you, Buki. It's you. It's you today in 2025.
What's something that white people do that annoys you?
They don't realise that they didn't do anything to be white. They think somehow they've earned it and all they did was be born.
What's one thing that black people do that makes you go, ugh?
Public disagreements. We already have that whole stigma, black people are loud, they're angry, especially women. When we are having disagreements and stuff, and not to be a show for people.
Everyone at some point has thought something racist. Just because you didn't act upon it doesn't mean it wasn't in your head. Black and white people and other ethnicities have things which are annoying. Maybe black people are too loud and they celebrate too hard when they play sport or something, can rub other ethnicities the wrong way. It's a white person. Just feel quite entitled because they're unaware of a scenario. Everyone has their pros and their cons there. But the crazy thing about it, no one would say it because they have to be politically correct. Just go around saying whatever you want. It's good to know the differences in culture so you know where to step, where not to step, what to say, what not to say. It might be rough for you guys because some people are going to be like, there's no such thing as racism, we shouldn't think about that. Look in color, but there is color. And the faster that you see that most of the people in the world, even though they shouldn't look at it like that, they do, the faster you can come to the resolution of, hey, let's be more aware.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed all of that clip. I was able to roll out for you guys, and yeah. So the truth is, if you already know that you are literally stealing or you're literally looting from someone's culture, enjoying that person's culture, then I don't see any need for you to also be looking down on that person. Because I think that's the problem that a lot of white people have. In real sense, you know that this thing, you are borrowing it, but they still have that pride that make it look like, oh, it's their own. I've seen a particular woman that literally said that every single culture that we portray today, a particular white woman to be precise, she said every single culture that we portray today that is as a result of white people. And in the comment section, a lot of people were asking her, please, how did we get here? You understand? And she went ahead by saying, oh, that is why black people decided to change a lot of things and start spicing their food when she was going through the food aspect, because white people created a culture with no spicing of their food. And I was like, Holy Mary, have mercy on me, because some of these people just need to understand that jealousy can literally not take them anywhere. There is no gain for you to be jealous of your partner, your friend. There's no gain about that. You understand? So whenever I see white people trying to act so weird, knowing fully well that they are literally benefiting from the system of black people, I just laugh at them. Every single thing black people created. But anyways, let me tell you guys the kind of culture that ChatGPT said white people created. All human groups have culture, including white ethnic group and European society. Culture means to share traditions, language, food, music, religion, clothing, values, holidays, acts, and social and customs of the people. So it would be accurate to say white people. So it would be accurate to say white people do not have culture. Europeans contain many distinct cultures. For example, Italy, known as Italian cuisine, opera, architecture, and arts. Ireland, who have the Celtic tradition, music, dance, and folklore. Germany, who have the philosophy, classical music, festivals, and engineering traditions. Greece, who have the ancient philosophers, theater, democracy, and mythology. Russian, oh my, this thing is touching me and I thought it's another thing. Sorry guys. Russian, who have literature, ballet, classical music, and Orthodox tradition. Many things considered part of a global culture today came from the European culture, including classic music, some form of modern science, Shakespearean theater, various cuisines and language. At the same time, some people, especially in discussion about race in places like United States, says white people have no culture. As a criticism of assimilation of dominance in mainstream society. Usually, they mean white is a broad racial category, not a single ethnicity. Many European immigrants group in America and gradually blend into a general white American identity. Some tradition became seen as normal or mainstream instead of being recognized. For example, an Italian American family, an Irish American family, and a Polish American family may have different culture tradition, even though they may be considered as whites. As far as I'm concerned, white people do not have culture. That's just the honest truth. Because every single thing that this chat is still telling me still boils down to the fact that black people invented every single culture they are trying to emulate. So don't deceive me, chat. I cannot be deceived. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clues and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.